the banks of the River Tyne. Take me home to the place that I call mine. It's a place I love best, 'cause it's better than the rest. Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne. There's lights that burn so brightly, in the northeast sky they shine. From a place that Geordies worship, where legends wear number 9. You can travel right round the world, even meet the Pope in Rome. But nothing beats the feeling of when you come back here to home. No matter how life changes, we'll never be far apart. The northeast always home, and it's always in your heart. Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne. Take me home to the place that I call mine.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to It's All Black and White TV, and yeah, back with the live now. After my weekend vlog down at Leicester City's ground on Saturday evening for the England Under-21s game. I'm joined by Rolly. How are you, Rolly?
I'm good today, thanks, John. Tony, rather.
Yeah. No worries, mate.
It's there's been a good day today. Got some good news. So that was it's really exciting, some of it. A project I'm doing outside of football. I got some information today that I wasn't expecting to get from a source I wasn't expecting to get it from. So that was really put a big smile on my face.
Yeah, brilliant. Guys, if you like what you see, then please smash the likes. You can do it during the show or when you leave the show later on, but just smash those likes. That's great. Thank you very much. Also, if you're brand new to the channel, then please hit the subscribe. Free to the channel grow. And that bell notification tells you when I'm live, have a pre-record or any upcoming show. So I'm currently sitting on 453 subscribers. So thank you very much. And I'm 47 away from 500 now. Also, there's a link in the chat. If you want to make a donation to the channel, just click the link and follow the instructions. Just getting to some comments. Mason says, I read Tony and Rolly. Yeah, Mason, I hope you're fine, mate. Hope you're fine. He says, it was mentioned on Steve Wraith's show, would you take Kane with Tottenham being in turmoil? Do you know what it is? Right. He's 29, right? That's one thing I look against him. But he's a quality goal scorer. And the thing is, I'll tell you why I'd take Kane. There's one reason. Because at least if he smashes Alan Shearer's record, he does it in the black and white shirt and not in the white shirt at Tottenham. So on that basis, I would definitely have Kane. But I think there's probably younger and better alternatives out there than Kane, in my opinion. I mean, what's your opinion on that, Rolly?
I'd take him because he's really now at his peak. Mm-hmm. He's got another year, maybe 2, before he starts that downward slide. Mm-hmm. You imagine it with his ability in front of goal, how many goals we would have scored, more goals we would have scored this season, and how many of those draws would have been wins.
Yes.
Because it's 11 draws we've had, isn't it? Something like that. If we turned 5 of them into wins, it's another 10 points. We're in the title race.
Yeah.
So, I'd have him. And I'd give him you could give him a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
And then if he's still cracking him in towards the end of the deal, you can extend it like we've done to Trips. But I'd take him. And then, of course, there's also the fact that he'd smash Shearer's record as a team player, which would be good.
Yeah, absolutely. He's already smashed the England record, hasn't he? So, and he's got 2-2 now in England flying in the group. So, Ian Toon Trader, Ari, Tony and Rolly, absolutely fine, Ian. Hope you're well, mate. Hope you're well. Joe says, all right, Tony and Rolly. Yeah, Joe, Fine, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Ian and Mason talking to each other there. George says there is young talent out there that will be better than Kane in a year or two. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
I disagree, to be honest. There's young talent out there. I'm not saying that, but better than Keane in 2 years. Yeah, I find that very doubtful in 2 years.
What about
unless you find another Haaland?
Well, there is another Haaland out there.
Yeah, if there is one. But you look at his goal record over the last 3 or 4 seasons. Even this season, he's still knocking them in. So I find it hard to agree with that.
I think in 2 years, Kane will be like 31, and I think by then he might be slowing down. That's the thing. We don't know though. We'll find out.
I mean, I think nowadays, there was a time when you'll remember this, Tony, when you hit 30, everyone thought you were over the hill. Now it's more. Once you start hitting 33, that they start thinking, oh, you're on the downward slide. But if you give them a 3-year deal, it takes to 32, and then you can reassess then. Because, let's say, the way we play, you get so many chances.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it'd be worth having. I don't in a year or two. I don't think there'll be anyone who's coming through the pipeline who'd be better than Kane, as Kane is now. They may ultimately become better, but then maybe you go in for them in 2 or 3 years' time, or we find another Isak who could turn out to be as good as and have a long term. It's almost, you could have someone like him whilst you look for someone that will go in the reserve in the youth team that could then be developed up through to this class striker. Lots of ways of doing it, but a young talent better than Keane in a year or two, I'm not convinced on that one.
No. Yeah, that's absolutely fine, Rolly. So we'll carry on with the comments. Sefton says, evening all, airports in, getting ready for work, and football is back at the weekend. How are you, lads? It certainly is. That is why we're having this little show tonight. It's a bit of fun. Get your comments in on the chat. Who should we buy? Who should we keep? Who should we sell? I know if you look at my thumbnail, I threw in a spanner in the works there because I threw ESM in there. Now, could that be a tease, keeping or selling? You know, you guys in the chat, have your say. Who would you buy? Who would you keep? Who would you sell? Get your comments in the chat. That's going to be really interesting. Join in tonight. It's a bit of fun. Andrew says, bonjour, madams.
Madame?
Madams.
Don't you mean messieurs?
He's taking the P rolly out of us.
Yeah.
Bonjour to you, madame.
Yeah.
Andrew.
I'm sure he's mistaken me because of my long flowing locks.
Andrew says, I can't even see over the hill.
If you could, you'd see me there.
And Ian says, hi, Tony and Rolly. Hi, Ian. I hope you're very well, mate. And I bet you're happy with Scotland's result over Cyprus. McTominay, 2 goals in 3 minutes. You know, it's, not bad. But there again, it's only Cyprus. But again, you've got to beat what's in front of you, Ian. And that's exactly what you did.
Yeah, it is.
Couldn't spell Monsieur, says Andrew. See, we just absolutely love our viewers. They're absolutely brilliant in this chat.
That's brilliant.
You know, I mean, so as you all know, guys and girls, I went to Leicester on Saturday. Went to King Power, and I was sitting 3 rows from the front, so I was in row C. So I had a great view of the goals and everything going on. I had such a fantastic time there. The people at Leicester were lovely. I met up with Jack from the Final Whistle. If you've ever seen his podcast, you may have seen him on John's doing the preview for when Leicester have played. Smashing lad. get onto his podcast, have a look. You'll see me on his podcast from the weekend when he asks me about the game. Smashing lad. And do you know what? It was a really, really good game, that under-21. Yes, it was only a friendly. But France had the better of the first half. But second half, England were a totally different team. I don't know what Lee Carsley said to them at half time, but whatever he said worked. They came out and they took the game to France. And France didn't have an answer. Now, Chevalier, who's in goal, we've been linked with this guy in goal. And he pulled off a tremendous save in the first half, as did James Trafford. James Trafford pulled off a great save from a guy called Manu Kone. Now, that name is very, very familiar, and we're going to get into him in a moment. But the thing is, I mean, the second half, England, without a doubt, worthy winners. I didn't expect we to win 4-0 against France, to be fair. The talent that France had in that squad was really good, and you saw a lot of it in that squad. Another guy who I quite would like to have seen Newcastle, and we've been linked with him in the past, was Amin Giri. He came on. He showed a couple of glimpses with these touches, but he didn't get the game because obviously England was dominant in that second half. I didn't think it. I mean, to be fair, how many subs he brought on didn't help that game because England were rampant. Then, 3 subs that came off for England all scored. MDE, you had Curtis Jones and then Aaron Ramsey, so great substitutions from Lee Carsley and they all scored, and that's great when you get substitutions right like that. But I'm just going to put this on screen anyway. But this guy, Manu Kone, right. So I watched this guy live on Saturday. Now, first off, I thought he ran the show for France. I thought he was terrific. When I did my little vlog, there was a kid sitting next to me, and because I was talking about Manu Kone of France, he sort of looked at me as if to say, "Oh, why is he talking about him for?" And then I mentioned, obviously, because we've looked at him. Now, this guy I thought had a terrific game. I thought his passing was absolutely spot on. He had a couple of shots. One went over the bar. One was deflected into the goalkeeper. And then just, in the other half time, he had a shot from outside the box. It was a rasping drive. And James Trafford pulled off a superb save to tip it over the crossbar. Now, he went off in the second half. When he went off, I think France totally changed. But I think he went off because France were getting overrun anyway by the England team. Now, this guy on screen, I'm sorry, I would have him at Newcastle in a heartbeat. I looked at this lad on Saturday and I thought he was terrific. He was tenacious. He's passing, his skills, he's got it all. He's 22. He's only going to get better. Can you imagine him working with Eddie Howe, the way we play our game? He would fit right into our game. He reminds me of a young N'Golo Kante, but better than Kante, in my opinion. And from what I saw Saturday, he was terrific. And, I know we've been linked with players like Edson Alvarez, but in my opinion, Kone I would have all day over Alvarez. I know Alvarez is quality, but this kid I would have all day. Watched him Saturday. He was terrific. If you haven't seen it, go and watch the match. It'll be on iPlayer, and you can go and watch it on there. And you'll see what I mean from the first half. I thought he played all right in the first half. I thought he was France's best player, to be fair. I'll just jump into some comments and I'll go to Rolly for his... So, Tanji says, Stuart Atwell and Andy Madley on the VAR, officials for the Man U game. Yeah, great, isn't it? Hamza Jama, would you boys agree that Maddison should be our number one target this summer? Do you know what? I do. I totally agree with that. And we will come back to your question about Maddison. So I will star it. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe. Thank you very much indeed. Lee says, all right, Tony Rowley, thumbs up, lads. Thank you very much indeed, Lee. Andrew says, Kane, Saka, Maddison all played well for England. Add them to Diaby and the two Napoli lads. Going to be an expensive summer. Do you know what, Andrew? This is what I've said. We're having a bit of fun tonight, so by all means, put it in there. We don't care what, we might not get half of them, but who knows? Ian says, didn't see much of the game, Tony. Was ill with food poisoning, dodgy curry sauce from the local chippy. Oh, Jesus, Ian. Not great, not great. But I hope you're better now, mate.
Yeah, hopefully you are.
Alan says, evening, guys. What do you think about Thuram? Are we linked with him? And he's free to get. Yes, Alan. Again, I'm going to start your question because I'm going to come back to that, Alan, about Thuram. I'm going to talk about him. Andrew says, never mind the Bruno hairdo. I'm getting mine like that, lad. He's going to have a Bruno hairdo, Andrew. Lee says, what results are fantastic for England? Absolutely. All results have been great for England. They've done absolutely fantastic. Mag debates, Mariuki looks class for England under 21s. Yes, he does. He was absolutely fun. He took his goal well on Saturday as well. On NUFC blog, says Alan, yeah, I saw that this morning as well, mate. Coffee says, hi, Tony, Rolly and all. Hi, Coffee. Andrew says, the crazy thing, lads, our owners could actually afford all these players. How things have changed, it's mint. But you're right, Andrew, we can afford them all. The only problem is FFP, And I mean, to be fair, we're scrutinised on everything we do. Alan says, yes, about Maddison being one target. And Tanji says, we're going to be linked to every player on the planet, especially if we get top four. Absolutely, Tanji, we are. I mean, so I'll come to you, Rolly. I mean, I don't know if you saw any of the England under-21 game at all, but Kone, for me, looks fantastic. What's your thoughts on what I've mentioned about Kone?
Well, I didn't see the under-21s. I'm going to check it out on iPlayer. I found it on iPlayer when I whilst you were talking and had this picture up, so I'll watch it later. I've seen a few clips of him. I've been on a few transfer shows with him about him. Personally, if we can get, I think we probably could get him for somewhere between 25 and 35 million.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, I'd snap their hands off. This guy looks class. He's only 21 as well. So you look at the players that we're getting in and the time they could spend at the club. We're looking for a class CDM to play in the midfield. I think that, people who've watched this show know that I'm a big Sean Longstaff fan, but I think he's an immediate upgrade on Sean, and I like Sean. He's, great tackler, plays the ball well.
Mm-hmm.
Again, with his age, he could be with us for 10 years.
Yeah.
You look at some of the players that we brought in the last window. Last couple of windows. You've got Botman, was 22, Isak 22, January Gordon 21. If we were to get him at 21, you've got a nice nucleus of really, really good, talented young players who are only going to improve and improve drastically under Eddie Howe. So he'd be a superb addition to the team, as well as the squad.
Yeah, he's 22 in May. Obviously, he's got a contract till 2025. But his strengths are his position and ball control, tackling, and he's got no outstanding weaknesses. Complete defensive midfield, centre midfield, and 6'1". As I say, I thought he was terrific on Saturday. I really did like this guy, and I thought, you know what? Yeah, on the ratings for the weekend, SofaScore, they've give Coney a 6.8, but to be fair, I thought he was better than a 6.8. I mean, you know, the Mariuki, who scored, he's got a 9. Sorry, he got a 7.4. Coney, sorry, 7.4. I would say it was probably more an 8 on Saturday for France. He was probably their best player, to be fair, I thought. But yeah, I mean, they had Badia Shield playing for them in centre half, France. So it wasn't a weak French team. There was quite some players in there, well-known players. But yeah, Noni Mariuki, what a player he is, and yeah, he got man the match on Saturday, and I thought, to be fair, I thought he was terrific as well, and I even thought, to be fair, Smith Rowe had a good game. Emile Smith Rowe of Arsenal, who scored the opener and then made way for Mariuki in the 66th minute. But yeah, all in all, a great display from England, and to go and win 4-0 is absolutely fantastic. So I'm just going to jump into some comments. That was the last one, was so from Tanji. Andrew says, well, I'm going to send Piff the Todd Bowley book of finance. Ian says, yes, I'm okay now, thanks, that's great to hear, Ian. Yeah, got to be so careful. Lee says, let's spend big in the summer, 5 players, get rid of the players we don't need. Could see some big shockers being signing in this year. Could be, Lee, that's the thing. Do you know what, Lee? It all depends where we finish in the table. Sefton says, get well soon, Ian. And Ian says, I'm a lot better now, Sefton. I mean, you know, we're looking at players who go out, but we're looking at incoming players. So, as we've got in the comments here, so we go back to Hamza's comment on about Maddison. Now, should Maddison be our number one signing for this summer? Without a doubt. Now, I saw the England game yesterday. I thought he was terrific yesterday. I thought he had a great game for England. Look, showing you what he could actually bring to our team. But we know the guy oozes class anyway, in my opinion. I would say it's a no-brainer. Go and get him. Go and get Maddison in the summer. Definitely. You'd probably get him for about 40 million because he's only got a year left on his deal. And Leicester have got to be very, very careful that they don't let this haggle on, because if it does, they'll lose him for free the year after. And so, I mean, Rowley, Maddison, yes or no, and why would you not? Why would you take him or wouldn't take him? And did you see him play yesterday?
Yeah, I thought it was excellent yesterday. Finishing wasn't as good as it has been, but we know he's better than that. But I thought that he had a really good game. Yeah, I have no problems with him being our number one target in the summer. He would add that little bit more guile, a little bit more incisiveness in the final third, which is something that we have struggled with from time to time. It's a decent age. The only problem I can see is, does he want to come? I think if it ends up that we miss out on Europe and Spurs qualify for the Champions League and we're both in for him, he might go to Spurs. If
all depends who the manager is.
Yeah, that's why I said might. If it turns out that we both miss out on Champions League, I think he comes to us.
Yeah.
And if we qualify the Champions League, I think he'll come to us. Though there is talk of Man City being in for him. Then it's really, for him, it's a case of have a look at Calvin Phillips. He went there, doesn't play.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's up to Maddison where he goes. He's reached that level where he can decide if he wants to go somewhere or not.
Yeah,
But
that's the
I
thing. Yeah, definitely. Definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, would take Madison all day long. Just got a couple of comments there. Brilliant, mate. Ian says, yeah, I think we should go all out for Madison. Definitely, Ian, definitely. Alan says, add Madison's goals and assists to our team to be a massive improvement. Do you know what, Alan? You're absolutely spot on, mate. You're absolutely spot on. Ian says, Madison has always said he wants to come to Toon.
Well, let's
Yeah,
hope
I've heard that as well.
Yeah, well, let's hope that's true, because until we sign him, we don't know. But there's one thing I'd like to say, which I think is quite refreshing, is in these transfer shows, is that when we say, "Oh, can we get him?"
Yeah,
the question we ask is, "Does he want to come?" and who else is in for him, rather than "Can we afford him?" Because for years under the previous owner, it's can we afford anyone? I mean, we couldn't even
yeah,
afford a loan fee for Hamza Chaudhry, for God's sake. Transfer windows used to be a nightmare because it wasn't a case of who we're going to get in. Is it who we're going to keep, because he might just sell everybody.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. But no, and I mean, we're going back to Alan's comment now about Marcus Thuram. And yeah, I mean, I saw that as well this morning, Alan. Apparently, we're in talks to sign him in the summer on a free transfer. Now, I did see this on my video this morning. If anybody caught that pre-record I put out this morning, Marcus Thuram, I would have him with a heartbeat. I'll tell you why. He'd be a low. Tell you what, the good thing about Marcus Thuram is he would be a low risk signing. And what I mean by a low risk signing is you're not paying a fee for him. So he's not going to come with a hefty price tag on his head. And I'm not saying he's going to for 1 minute, but if he came into the team and he didn't settle or didn't do well in England and he flopped, you look at it and you think, okay, but we haven't paid a fee for him. We've only, we've given him a sign-on fee, fair enough, and we're paying his wages. But other than that, you haven't put out a massive transfer fee on this guy. So you look at it and you think, right, okay, that's not too bad. It's low risk that way. I mean, he plays left wing and he plays
That,
striker.
Tony?
Yeah, sorry, Rolly, yeah.
Not just that we haven't paid for him, it's that if we move him on, we'd get a transfer fee for him.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, this guy can play left wing and as a striker. So if ESM was still at the club next season, now, so if you've got ESM, you've got Elliot Anderson who can play on the left, you've got Joe Linton who can play left, you got, and then you've got Marcus Thuram who can play left wing, and also throw into that Alexander Isak as well. Now, if I was the SM and I'm still at the club next season and I get to start the first game and I know Marcus Thuram's on the bench who can play in my position left wing, and I'm speaking as if I'm ESM, but I'm not. But I'm sitting there and think I'm on the pitch starting, and I'm thinking, right, okay, Thuram's on the bench. I've got to stop being unplayable every week. I've got to make sure I'm consistent week in, week out, because if I drop, he's going to get in. And if he gets in, I'll not get my place back. And I'm going to be stuck on the bench for the rest of the season. And I may get to start in a cup game or whatever. But other than that, I'm probably not going to be a starter in the Premier League. That's what ESM's mindset's got to be. He's got to put that into his mindset that if we've got quality left wingers on the bench, he's got to put that into his head and think, right, I've got to go out there and be. We're not expecting him to be unplayable every week, but we just want to see a bit more consistency from ESM. One great game in 10 is not consistent. You've got to do it on a consistent basis, and quality wingers produce on a consistent basis, and that's what we need to see from ESM. Somebody who can produce on a continuous basis, on a consistent basis, and just carry it on. And that's what we want to see from Alan St. Maximum. Now, if you agree in the chat, do get your comments in. I'm going to go into some comments now and just read some out. But it would be an absolute... I think getting Thuram would be an absolute steal in my eyes.
Yeah.
Alan says, value for money. Exactly. Andrew says, we can afford Chowdhury now. Let's get him. Tanji says, Everton fans have got to look forward to their future transfer windows.
Oh.
Oh, God, yeah. They could be even getting a transfer embargo, couldn't they?
Well, apparently, what they're being referred to is a transfer that they made during last season that took them over the financial fair play. So it wouldn't surprise me if it's Luca Digne. Was it? Yeah, it was not. No, they sold Luca Digne. Who did they get in?
Onana.
Or
he cost 40 million, didn't he?
Yeah, it could be that.
And they signed Dwight McNeil for 20 million.
Yeah.
And Morpie as well.
Yeah, but I mean, they were, because it was last season, so they bought, was it Mikhailichenko, the Ukrainian fullback?
Oh, you talked about last season, Roy.
Last season,
sorry. Yeah, Mikhailenko, yeah.
Mikhailenko, I think that there wasn't though it wasn't like a 40 million thing. They were so close to the limit on financial fair play. It's almost anybody that buys will put them over.
And Dele Alli.
Yeah, because they're saying, we can't have done anything wrong because we worked hand in hand with the Premier League, almost like they had a business plan that they're given on how to stay in, but it doesn't mean they didn't break it. So fingers crossed that they did break it when they can get hammered, because they're going to have to be hammered, because it makes a mockery of financial fair play if they have broken the rules.
Yeah. Hamza says Thuram is a sensible buy. Yeah. Hamza says Thuram's a sensible buy, a player that can play on the wing and a striker, also a free transfer. Absolutely. Hamza.
Before we move on to another player, do you know much about his brother? Is it Khafre?
Khafre Thuram.
Yeah.
He plays for Nice. I know he plays for Nice. I think he's 18 or 19, I think he is.
Something like that. There's a CDM, I think. But I don't know much about him, but I was reading an article today that we might be interested in both of the Thurams.
Yeah, well, Khafre Thuram plays for Nice. He's 22, sorry. He's 6'3".
It's a bit short for our team then.
I mean, he came on for France against the Netherlands, only played a minute. But, I mean, in Ligue 1 this season, he started 23 of 28 games. He's been in Team of the Week twice. He's got 2 goals and 4 assists. And he's a CDM. His strengths are his ball control and he's no weaknesses. So he's he plays more towards the left side of the midfield, but he can be all over that midfield part. His value is about 24 million euros. He, again, has only got a contract till 2025. So, again, you could negotiate something with Nice. He'll have 2 years left on his deal. Again, it's another young player in that position. But if I had me choices between him and Kone, I have to go Kone after what I saw on Saturday. And to see him, I mean, I've seen Kone a couple of times. You know, he got man of the match last season against Leipzig. He was absolutely terrific that day. He ran the show. But when I saw him on Saturday, I just thought, I'm sorry, this is the guy I want at Newcastle. And I was just like, yes, we've got to get him in the summer. I'll be disappointed if we don't get him. I'll be gutted, to be fair, because I think he's a hell of a player. And I think he's just going to get better. Paul says, Evening. I'm still saying Jonathan David would be the best sign for us, as you can draw our fan base in North America and score goals. That's the thing, they can. I mean, last season, Jonathan David had a Jekyll and Hyde season, Paul. First half of the season, he was brilliant. He scored 16 goals. Second half of the season, he scored about 3 goals. So he sort of drifted off in the second half of the season. But saying that, he's a quality centre forward, and I mean, to be fair, Jonathan David. I mean, yeah, I do rate the guy because I think he's got a lot to offer.
So I was a little disappointed in the World Cup. I was expecting more from him in the World Cup.
Yeah, but there again, it's Canada, isn't it?
Yeah. Though they played well. I was just expecting a little bit more, but I've not seen enough of him to make a proper decision or a determination on what I think.
Yeah. Well, again, he's 23-year-old, 5'11". He's 2-footed, so he can use both feet. His anchor play is his strengths. His weaknesses are aerial duels. But he started 26 out of 27 games this season for Lille, and he scored 19 goals.
That's not bad.
He's got 4 assists. So 19 in that's averaging a goal a game, basic. Well, that's averaging a goal per every game and a half. So
it's a good strike rate.
His expected XG is 18.25, and his scoring frequencies every 121 minutes. So actually, do you know what, Paul? That is a really good shout, Jonathan David. And again, it's a youngster. Imagine him alongside Isak. You know, it's just absolutely. Do you know what, Paul? I'm glad you threw that one in there, mate. I really am, Paul. Well done to you. Well done, sir. I mean,
I'm just going to have to turn my cam off for a minute. I've just got something in my eye I need to get out.
Okay, so mate, no worries. But Paul, that's a great shout. Jonathan David, yeah, definitely, mate. Definitely, that is an excellent shout. I'll just mute Paul. Tanji says, it's not as simple as splashing extraordinary amounts of cash on big money signs. We also got to get things like what Brighton do with a good recruitment and scouting. Yeah, definitely, Tanji. I totally agree with you on that one. We have to. We can't just throw money at things. We got the FFP, but I'm hoping if we get some big sponsorship deals through the door, that paves the way for us to spend a bit more money and be a little bit more freelance with it. So, but eventually, we will be there at the top where we can start spending the money, and there's no worries whatsoever. Tanji says, this is what we got Dan Ashworth for. Absolutely, mate. Hamza said his brother is one for the future. I think Liverpool are keen on signing him. Yeah, Kefren Turam, yeah, he is one for the future, definitely, without a doubt. If I had the choice between Coney and Turam, it has to be Coney for me. Tanji says Alphonso Davies would be a canny left back as for us, I feel. I don't know a lot about him, but yeah, I mean, he's the Canadian right back, isn't he? Sorry, yes, I know the one you mean now. You missed the penalty, didn't you, in the World Cup? But yeah, there's plenty left backs out there, that's for sure. I mean, it all depends who we actually go for, doesn't it? But yeah, not a bad shout on that one, Tanji. Alan says, I think the idea of a North American player makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it does, Alan. I mean, not only that, you can sell your shirts over there. And then as Alan goes on to say, commercial market, remember this is investment for owners, lot shirt sale. Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. Paul says, aren't we getting 2 scouts? One from City, one from Man U. Yeah, as far as I'm aware, we are. But again, it's one of them, you know. But it's just going to be an interest. the thing is, this summer is going to be really, really interesting, and we just can't wait for the summer, because since these owners are coming, we've seen the kind of players that they want to bring in the club. When we've seen the likes of Bruno come in, if we had a team full of 11 Brunos, that would be absolutely fantastic. But but in terms of that, no, I think it's absolutely brilliant that our owners have gone on, because when we needed to stay in the league, we brought in Premier League experienced players, and Bruno was the only one that wasn't Premier League experience that came into the club, but the rest of them were. But yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting summer, that's for sure. And Tanji says, I thought everything Canada did in the World Cup come through Alfonso Davis being a physical powerhouse. Yeah, it did. Tanji, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Sefton says, got your show blasting out in the car as I'm driving into work. How are you, the lads? Tonight, everyone. Well, I hope you're not disturbing the neighbourhood, Sefton. You don't want to be getting what is it? A public disorder notice that you're you're disturbing the peace. People might be watching Coronation Street, and you might be disturbing them. Instead of watching Coronation Street, they should be on here watching us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Never mind your Steve McDonald's or whoever they are. Hamza says Nuno Mendes from PSG would be first choice in the left back position.
I don't know.
Not sure. No, I mean left backs. I mean Bruno Sosa from Stuttgart. I think he's a good left back. Well, apparently we're looking at Mitchell Bakker again after trying to get him through last season. But he seemed to have gone off the boil a little bit. But whether we've seen something in him that we think, oh, hang on a minute, he could do a job. I mean, Jamal Lewis has played the last couple of games for Northern Ireland. He's not even played for us all season, really.
I think he needs a fresh start somewhere else. He could turn into the player that we hoped he'd be, but I don't think he's going to do it at Newcastle.
Yeah, it's just something about.
I think the problem is he got bruised, and Eddie's not been able to knock the bruise out of him.
Yeah. Another player we'd all like to see in the club is this man, Moussa Diaby. I mean, should we go all out for him in the summer, Rolly?
Depends what you mean by all out. How much are we going to spend this summer? I think we'll probably have enough, because we've got to replace 5 or 6, about 5 players who'll be leaving the club. So how much are we going to spend to replace them? If you've got Madison as our top target, hopefully we can get him for around 40 with only having a year left in the contract. That would make it possible to spend 50 or so for Diaby, which I think would be worth it.
Tell you what, Rolly, I'm going to throw this spanner in the works here for everybody in the chat as well. Now, if we didn't get Coney in the summer, and I would take this guy as a defensive midfielder, because again, terrific. He's been terrific for his club this season. He's been terrific for his country as well. And, you know, he's going to cost a lot of money. Yes, we know he's going to cost a massive amount of money. But if there was a sniffer getting him, I would take him. And here he comes. Declan Rice. Rice, baby. I mean, I know he's probably going to cost around in excess of 100 million. But Rolly, would you have him, yes or no?
Oh, God, yes. Yes. He's one of the players that you'd make sacrifices elsewhere to get. So you look at, if you get him at CDM, you might be looking at either not replacing someone and promoting someone from the under 23s, because we've got quite a few exciting youngsters. DeBol, Joe White, maybe promote, give them a chance in the senior squad. If it doesn't work out, send them. You can spend again in January, but if you drop 100 on him, I mean, that's a massive upgrade on Sean, massive. I mean, when they came to St James's Park, he dictated the play for large portions of the game. He was superb for England against Italy. The guy's just class. And if he wanted to come, it's the sort of player that you could look at a player plus cash for him to make it a little bit easier on financial fair play. What would make it even easier is if it worked out that West Ham went down, then they're forced to sell him, and they can't hold out for the price that they want because they need to get him off the books.
Now you say that, Rory, West Ham could go down. Yes, they could do, Rory. I mean, they're not in the best of position at the moment, West Ham. Plus,
I think that hang on, I'll just check that if my recollection is correct, they're either only a point above the drop zone or goal difference. I'm just going to check.
I think they're in the relegation zone, aren't they?
They're in the bottom three. They're in the bottom three.
Right. Here's the dilemma, Rolly, right? Okay, I'm going to put this dilemma to you, and I'll put it to you in the chat as well. Now, if the positions in the table stay exactly as they are, and the points differences between the teams are still as they are, the last day of the season, only 2 teams could be relegated on the last day, and that is Leicester City or West Ham United, because Leicester City and West Ham play each other on the final day of the season. Now then, if that's the way the table is, that is a massive game for both clubs. The winner stays up, simple as. What would your thoughts be if I got the end of the season, Rolly, and the only 2 teams that could really go down were Leicester or West Ham? Who would your money be on for staying up? Would it be Leicester or West Ham?
Where's it being played?
At the King Power.
I think if I was a betting man, I'd put my money on Leicester. Because I think the home team would. I think that having the home crowd behind them would carry them through. That it would be close. But I mean, it's just so tight down there. I mean, you look at Crystal Palace in 12th, and they're only 3 points above West Ham, who are in the bottom 3.
Yeah.
So it's literally any 3. It could come down to the last game of the season that there are 6 or 7 teams that could go 3 of 6 or 7.
Yeah.
It's so close because Forest have dropped down after the defeat to us, but I think they'll have enough at home to survive. I mean, this weekend was it Tottenham play Everton, and I want both teams to lose. I would take an Everton win if it meant that we qualify for the Champions League, or helped us qualify for the Champions League.
Yeah, definitely, Rolly.
I want both of them to lose.
You want both of them to lose, yeah. Fortunately, Rolly, there's got to be one. You know, they can be a point. They can get a point.
Yeah, I know, but it's better if they can both lose and get no points.
Well, this is it, Rolly. This is it, and it would just be absolutely brilliant. I mean, another player, um, that we are being linked to as well, and I'm going to bring him on screen. He plays for Atlanta and I was going to say America, in Italy. Sorry, he's 6'3", 20-year-old. um,
I think I know who you're talking about.
he's played 2 games for Denmark.
Rasmus.
And he scored 5 goals in 2 games for Denmark at international level. I mean, that's frightening to think. In Coppa Italia, he hasn't. That's the cup game. Sorry. If we go to Serie A, if I can find Serie A, I can't find it at the moment. Don't know where it is. But he's actually on at the Bundesliga, so he's played 4 games out of 5. He started and he scored 3 goals in 4 games. Well, 5 games. So that's a goal every 2 and 2 assists. So here he is, Rasmus Højlund, and he's 20-year-old Danish striker, and supposedly the next Erling Haaland. Now, I mean, he's left-footed. They say he's 16.4 million euros valuation. I think it'll be a little bit more than that. His weaknesses are his ground duels, but his anchor play is his real strength. Again, 20-year-old, he's a talent. He's only going to get better. Yes or no, Rolly?
That's it. I don't know an awful lot about him. I've heard that we've been linked, but I've not seen any of him. I think it's a bit tight when someone says that you're the next Erling Haaland or any of the other great players, because it's really putting a lot of pressure on the kid, which he is. His record looks good. Again, this is a sort of player that in 2 or 3 years could be a top striker if he develops. And I think he's the sort of player that you take as a almost like a rotational player, that with the intent of actually in a short period of time getting into a sort of like a critical first team player. Because again, it fits our profile. Nice and young, lots of bags of skill, lots of potential. Because because the way they've done the FFP rules, we can't be going out buying Erling Haaland all the time. Man City can do that because they can sell 2 or 3 players and recoup the value. At the moment, our squad, the players we want to get rid of in the summer, we might get £2.50 for them. Whereas City sold Jesus for as much as they paid for Haaland, and then they sold Sterling as well for about the same. So their transfers are generated by the sales of their top players to get younger, better players in. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. So getting someone, and I think that's part of the plan why they're looking at developing the youth, getting in young players that can develop and grow with the club, so that in 3 or 4 years' time, when we're challenging for European in the Champions League, hopefully, challenging to actually win it and challenging for the title year in, year out, we've got all these young players would have had 2-3 seasons in the Premier League, developed, and just be approaching their peak, not actually having hit it, so that we can then get to a point where we can, when we feel we need to change the system, we need to look at a different type of player. We have players that will garner a large transfer fee, so we can go out and buy some of these top players, pay 80 million for Rice or 100 million for Osimhen, and it not having a massive effect on our FFP because we sold, let's say, Gordon and I don't know, Gordon and Murphy, and we've got all that money back. Yeah,
I mean, I'm going to go into some comments. Gordon Manning, hi Gordon, not seen you for a while, mate. Hope you're well. He says, I can't see us finishing a Champions League place this season. It's too soon for us. We haven't got the squad depth for the Champions League.
I don't see why that is. Why we wouldn't finish in the Champions League spot because our squad hasn't got depth. Unless we get a rash of injuries, we've got every chance of finishing in the Champions League squad in position. If we do, it just means that the 5 or 6 players that we sign in the summer will be better than the ones we were going to buy. So they will probably replace 5 or 6 in the starting lineup, who then become on the bench, and our starting lineup's pretty good. So we then have the depth. And I think there's the slightly different rules for the Champions League for who actually has to be declared in the squad and who can play. Because if I remember right, the Premier League, if you're under 21, you don't have to register. I think it's a little bit older in the Champions League. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So,
Sanji says he reckons we'll spend about 200 million in the summer if we can get a top 4 with all the extra revenue, sponsor, sell some players, free up some wages. It will be exciting for us, I'm sure. Absolutely, Tanji.
Yeah, that's it. I think we'll buy at least 5.
Lee reckons we'll spend 260 million.
Yeah, I mean that's not
that's outrageous.
That's we're looking at 5 players.
Yeah,
it's 50 million a piece. Well, we're not going to pay 50 million for each player, but there may be a couple that we'll pay 60, 70, and a few that we'll get in the sort of 20s and 30s. So yeah, it's doable.
Sanji says West Ham are terrible away from home.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he says too early to see on the Danish striker, although a nice finish for his first goal against Kazakhstan, who, by the way, Kazakhstan, well done to you. What a brilliant result. Going to beat Denmark 3-2. And yes, the player who scored the winner got booked for excessive celebration. I don't know what his excessive celebration was. He probably took his shirt off.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
But I mean, what makes
you can't blame them.
What makes that win even better is they were 2-0 down.
Yeah. Just shows you these smaller nations are catching up now.
Yeah, there are no easy international games. Even the likes of Malta and San Marino, they make you work.
Yeah. Italy just scraped Malta 2-0 last night, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Tanji says, let's remember, we do need to add strength and depth in centre-back positions also, absolutely.
Yeah.
Lee says, we need a player that can rotate and change the game as well. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Oliver. Hi, Oliver. Hope you're well, mate. He says Newcastle will finish 3rd this season. Period. Keep Isak fit and keep the SM on the bench and we'll be fine. Do you know what, Oliver? I think we'll finish 3rd as well. I'm going for 3rd place.
I think if we beat Man
I'm still
United,
maintaining if we do finish 7th, I won't be disappointed though. Yeah. Sorry, Rolly?
So if we beat Man United on Sunday, 3rd place is on the table.
Yes.
I think we'll probably finish 4th. And I think that's because obviously we're playing well, but I also think that there's still a lot of turmoil at Spurs, even though they've got rid of Conte. They've not brought in someone new, so it's still the same setup. They may relieve some of the stress, but it's not great to have a caretaker in. I'm not sure that that's actually going to make much difference. And Liverpool are, I think the best thing that still sums them up is they're the they're the Robin Hood of the Premier League. They take from the rich to give to the poor. So they'll beat the teams at the top and lose to the ones at the bottom.
you talk about Liverpool, and this is the biggest laugh I've seen. And people in the chat, get your thoughts on this as well. I think it's coming through Sky. I'm not sure. Liverpool could look to Newcastle's Joe Willock as a possibility if a deal for Jude Bellingham falls through in the summer. So I think you can. I think you can basically say, do one Liverpool F. The first word begins with F. The second word's off.
No, they can look,
but they can't touch.
Yeah, it's like window shopping. Oh yeah, I like Lucas. Have it, but he's not going anywhere.
Can't have it. No,
you can't. You can't afford it.
I don't understand why anyone would say we're not ready for Champions League. We take the experiences, all the money from it, and do our best. We aren't going to win the Champions League. I mean, if you remember when Leicester won the Premier.
Can I just correct Tanji's comments? We aren't going to win the Champions League next season.
One day.
Yeah, but you take it. You take it. If you're good enough to qualify, you qualify, and then you worry about the squad in the summer because you've got time to strengthen. People say it's too fast. Well, the thing it does, it'll give us European experience, which we haven't got. We'll get all that extra revenue.
Yes,
so we'll be able to strengthen, and it's going to be a tough season next year because you know that everybody's going to strengthen. The teams that haven't done so well have underperformed the seasons, like Liverpool, Spurs, and Chelsea. They are going to strengthen themselves. So, like we are. So it's going to be a lot tougher next season than is this. We've got a golden opportunity this season to qualify for the Champions League when you have two, possibly three teams that normally fighting for the places aren't doing so well. It's going to be a lot tougher to qualify next season. So why wait? And if we get knocked out in the group stages, so be it. We still increase the revenue. We justified a bigger sponsorship deal.
Yeah. Tanji says at least the future development of the project.
Yeah.
Alan says, if we finish in the top four, a lot more players of quality would come. Yeah, defo got to go for it. It will be harder next season. Yeah, absolutely.
That's
Billy.
Exactly what I'm saying.
Hey, Billy. Billy's in the house from
Billy.
And I'm glad to see Paul's getting better. Thing is, Billy, just tell Paul from me. I'm going to message him anyway later. But I'm glad he's got nothing to apologise for. Cancelling his shows at the end of the day. If he hasn't been well, then at the end of the day, your health comes first. Yeah, podcast second, health first. Put your health first. And but I hope you're getting better, Paul. And pass on my best wishes to him, please, Billy. Thank you very much.
Mine.
Yeah, and Kazakhstan winning was very nice, Billy. Indeed, absolutely. Tanji says, Man U are 1-6 with the bookies to finish top four. It's a 5-6 club race below second. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Billy says Liverpool should play Curtis Jones more often. Look great for the under-21s. I thought he had a great game when he come on. I thought he looked all right. Yeah, I think he's just come back from an injury though, hasn't he? I'm not sure. Oliver says if Kane leaves Spurs this summer to us or Man U, what happens to Son? Do we go for him? Do you know what? I mean, yes, Harry Kane. Yes, I would take him. Yes, we know he's 29, but he's got it. It's his all-round game he plays. And if you look at the way he played for England against Italy, wasn't just the fact he'd scored the penalty, but it was his all-round game. You know, the determination to get the ball and draw free kicks just to break the game up, to break the play up. So, yeah. But Son, I'm not sure because he seems to be struggling this season. I don't know what's up with Son this season. He's not the same player as he was last season.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Tony. I'm not sure about Son. And then I don't think it always works when you buy two players that play together just because they play together. Because you're then looking at, are you going to actually change the system you play to accommodate them? Because you bought two of them. If you buy just the one, it's easier for them to adapt into your system, which is what you want to do.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's been a great player for Spurs, but this season is being, by his standards, poor.
Very. Alan says, got 4 home games against top teams, including Brighton. Win those games will go a long way to securing the top 3 or 4. Great chance. Absolutely, Alan. We can go above Man U at the weekend if we beat Man United. Lee says, we've beat Barcelona, we can do okay. Absolutely, yes, be a hat-trick. We all remember that.
Yeah,
Billy says, the Borat reference there with the very nice comment. Brilliant. Borat, yeah. Lee says, nice to hear from Billy. Tell Paul to get well. Top man, says Lee. Yeah, absolutely. And Oliver says, Billy Tree is a Don. He's a legend. Billy is an absolute legend. He's we chat on a daily basis, me and Billy, and Billy's an absolutely fantastic guy. And the Toon Review are doing a transfer show at 8:30 tonight, so we'll be off by the time they go on air. So do tune in and see what Paul and the lads have got to say, and I'm sure it'll be an interesting one. I'm sure Alex will be doing his stats on different players as well. So big up to everybody at the Toon Review, and great to see that Paul's back on the mend again. And because Paul is a top bloke. I like Paul. I've got a lot of time for Paul. Got a lot of time for all of them on the Toon Review, to be fair. I've met, so that they're all fantastic people on there. But I'm going to come to I'm now going to come to the keep or sell section now. Right. So while we go to the last 15 minutes of the show. So So this is the keep in the sell section. Okay.
Okay.
So the first player that I'm going to put on it, it's probably a no-brainer anyway, is it? But
we'll see.
There's your first player, Martin Dubravka. Keep or sell?
Oh, that's a tough one. That.
And join in on the chat, by the way, guys, as well, and girls. Yeah.
Keep or sell? It's an interesting, because Gillespie's going to be going, and you've got Darlow's likely to go. I think it really depends on whether he wants to go or not. As a number 2, it gives us the best, what I consider to be the best 2 starting and backup keepers in the league. He went to Manchester United, then thought better of it. I don't hold that against him personally. I know a lot of people are very unhappy about how that came about, but I look at it as a bit like being the prodigal son. It's seen the sense and come back. If we sell him, we need another keeper. I'd be tempted to keep, to be honest. I think that's a controversial view, especially as he went to Man United and the way that he went. But I'd be tempted to keep. I'm sure a lot of people just want rid of him because he went to Man United and the way he went to Man United. But people make mistakes. When he's played for us, he's hardly let us down in the past, and he's he did okay when he came on for Pope when he was sent off, both against Liverpool. And he is a proven Premier League quality goalkeeper. So if you take away all the Manchester United stuff from the equation, I think everybody would keep him.
Yeah.
So I'm saying keep.
Okay, my eye is I would sell him, even if you got 5 million from him. Sell him on. Because I think he probably wants to play first team games. I mean, he's played for Slovakia in the Euro qualifiers. I would say sell him. I know that's probably going to sound controversial, but I would sell him. And in my opinion, sell him and keep this guy is second choice. Loris Karius, I think he done well in that Carabao Cup final. The media were out there to try and crucify him, and do you know what? He stuck two fingers up to the media and basically said, F you, I've had a great game. Thank you very much indeed. There's nothing you could do about the two goals. They were just unfortunate. But other than that, he produced a few stunning saves in that game, showed that he's still got the quality to be a top-class goalkeeper, and he just needed that confidence, and Eddie's maybe given that confidence. So I would say sell Dubravka and keep Karius.
The thing
Keep
is,
calm and Karius on.
I mean, I'd keep both. To be honest, I'd keep both of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally agree with what you said with Karius, and for a goalkeeper, he's still quite young.
Yeah.
He's like 27, 28?
Who, Karius?
Yeah.
29.
29. That's young for a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as I say, yeah, I'd keep, those would be, because you're going to keep three keepers. Those would be my three, Pope, Dubravka and Karius. If we get I put a caveat on that, and if we get an offer that's too good to refuse, you sell him. And have Karius number 2, and then it's a case of whether we've got a young keeper that is good enough to step up, or we look. My worry is that if we let him go, we've got to replace him. Are we going to, for the money that we get for him, are we going to find a keeper of his quality? I'm not so sure. But I'd keep him. But that's if he wants to stay. As you said, that he might be wanting to get first team football because he's probably at his peak now. He's got a few more years at his peak before he has that downward trend. But I think at the end of the day, it's a case of whether he wants to stay or not will determine whether he stays. And I think they'd be quite happy to keep him, to be honest. He'd be the best number 2 in the league.
Yeah.
That's
an interesting one. It is. It's an interesting one, though. Let's go into the comments and see what people have had to say anyway. Next 4 games, Tanji says, I'll keep the top 4. I feel Man U, followed by 3 away games. We get 8 and 10 points out of those. Then we have 5 out of our last 8 games at home. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I totally agree. Mason says, John can have Dubravka back at Man United. Lee says, sell. Derek says, Grimaldo from Benfica, end of contract, fall out the coach. Who scored top 5% in Europe, goals and assists from left back and left midfield. You know what? I absolutely totally agree. That is one hell of a left back, and yeah, I would definitely have him. And again, a free transfer. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Oliver says sell Dubs. Derek says, is he happy being number 2? Who knows?
That's the question.
Brian says, big up, Isak's looking sharp. Yeah, he is, isn't he? Just
Manu's got a. They're playing today. They're playing now, so he's probably watching. Yeah, he's probably watching on a stream somewhere.
Ian says Selly wants first team football. Absolutely. Alan says if he wants to stay, keep being really good for the tune, but I don't care about Man U visit. No, absolutely not. Keep Karius, says Lee. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all think we should keep Karius.
Yeah. Hi all, says Trolls. He says hi, Tony and Rolly. Hi Trolls, hope you're well, mate. Not seen you for a little while. Sell Dubs the SAP. He's an FM trainer, says Trolls. I know what you think of him, Trolls. Yeah. Mason says, I read an article today, free agents that Swansea could go for, and Karius was in there. And I thought, what the F? Surely we can't kind of pay the wages that he wants. Do you know what? It's amazing because Karius is going to probably be in demand in the summer after that Carabao Cup final, and that's the thing. He's put himself in the shop window. Troll says Dubs is decent keeper, but that's all. He never rolls in the box and is terrible at passing. Yeah. Mafinho will prove all of us wrong, says Coffee. Yeah, he loves Mafinho. Peter Tyson says Dubravka will not want to be third choice, so sell him. Absolutely. Dubravka could have gone to Leicester for first team football, says Coffee. He could well have done. I mean, yeah,
Leicester didn't come in for him, so
no, they didn't.
That's a mute argument.
It's a contentious one about Dubravka. Right,
Yeah.
I'm going to give you another. Now I'm going to give you another one in the chat. So, again, this may be a bit controversial, but it's one for the chat. So would you keep this player, or would you cash in on him in the summer if we got more depth in his position? So here he comes, and that is Alan St. Maximin.
I knew
so
that.
Get your thoughts in the chat. Rawley, keep or sell?
I'm a keep.
Why?
I think that his biggest problem this season has been his injuries, which has knocked him off any sort of form or consistency. I think that his overall game this season has been a lot better. And the thing that I look at is that this season, you'll notice, especially since he's come back from the injury, when he gets the ball, the first thing he does is look to see where everyone else is. And then he starts running. When he gets to the edge of the box, he's looking to see where everyone else is, rather than just trying to dribble around everybody 8 million times. His defensive work has improved a lot. It's still not perfect, but it's never going to be. I just think that the problem with selling him is that you lose depth. You've got to replace him. He's the sort of player that, the way he's playing at the moment, he's been brilliant when he's come off the bench. So you want that sort of flexibility. That if he starts and have a worldie, that's great. But if he falls out of form, you can have him on the bench and bring him on as an impact sub. If you sell him, that's an extra player we've got to buy on top of the 5 that we're going to replace.
Yeah.
I think you give him another season, because he'll be 27, 28. Yeah. Then we'll know what player we've got. Whether he's, because when you look at this season, it's been a real transition for him. Last season, he was given more latitude because of his attacking ability, and the fact that we needed that ability going forward to try and save us. This season, we're playing better all round, and he's having to adapt to the system that we play. So he's got to do more of his defensive work, which he's starting to do. He's got to rely on teams around him. I mean, some of the times he's come on the pitch. I mean, in even games where he started, where you say he's done nothing, and that's because the ball's been on the other side of the pitch. And there's one I forget which game it was. And it's just after Anthony Gordon joined. He came on as sub about 20 minutes to go. And it was 10 minutes before he actually got played the ball. Yeah. He's probably a bit frustrated because he's not used to that. I would keep him, because I think there's more development to come. And I think that I believe that next season he will be, attacking wise, he'll be like he was before Eddie came, but he'll be doing the defensive work as well as the attacking.
Yeah, I mean,
unless someone comes in with a stupid offer, someone comes in with 60 million offer for him, you take it, but otherwise you keep him.
Yeah, I'm torn with ESM. I just look at the fact we just can't have a 1 in 10 every game's, 1 in 10 great game, and then for the next 9 games you're going to be.
I think you're being a bit much on him.
He's had 2 man of the matches this season. He had that one against Man City. He's totally unplayable that day. He had that one against Liverpool when we had 10 men. If we didn't have the strength and depth, then yes, I would say definitely keep him. But also, I would say if a stupid offer came in, if somebody said, I'll give you 100 million for Maxi, I'd say, do you know what? Yeah, go. You know, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, though. But you know what I mean. But yeah,
I mean, I think that if we get offers for him in the summer, it's going to be around that 40 million mark, and I wouldn't take that.
Yeah. Derek says Murphy needs a Miggy transformation to become Mourinho. I can't see him doing that, but I'd love him to, absolutely. Tanji says cashew chips in a luxury we can sell. I'm just going through these comments because we're going to wrap up soon. Derek says only sell ESM if we get a quality replacement.
The problem with that is that quality replacements cost a lot of money.
Yeah. Joel says I'll give
FFP, that's the problem.
Joel says he'll give his verdict at the end of the season on ESM. Oliver says sell. He's total he's not a team player. He's not a consistent. ESM needs to go. He's no longer the big fish in a small pond.
I'll take you to task on that, Oliver. I don't think he's TW. Right, he hasn't been a team player, but he's becoming more of a team player.
Yeah,
he is inconsistent. And so at the end of the day, we're looking to buy 5 or 6 players as it is. You get ASM, that's another one you got to replace. And FFP is the problem. If someone comes in, with a silly offer, 60 million upwards, yeah, you sell him. But otherwise, you keep him for squad
Ian
depth.
says, if we get decent money, maybe because he can be inconsistent. Absolutely,
Yep.
Ian. Derek says, you're right, but he's looking around, it is ruining his form. Alan says
he'll get that. He'll get that back because he's learning to do that, and it's taken a bit off his attacking flair. But he'll learn to do both. It's something new for him, and it'll just takes a bit of time for him to get that. And he's not been playing regularly because he had that long injury.
Yeah, Alan says I would keep St. Maxi at the moment, but must keep playing better. Can't go missing. It's exactly what I said earlier on, Alan. Yeah. If I was Alan St. Maxim and you've got other left wingers coming into the club, you've got to make sure you keep that shirt on your back because it's competition for places. Tanji says we've got Elliot Anderson now. He's the better future prospect than the SM.
Maybe, but that doesn't mean you discard ASM straight away.
No. Coffee says keep the SM because he was with us during our bad era and deserves a chance to grow with better players around him.
Absolutely.
Not a bad comment, that.
That's a good comment.
He can't get in the French squad, enough said. Derek says
not a lot of players that can get into the French squad that are very good because they're World Cup finalists for a reason. They're a very, very good team. So you've got to be exceptional to actually get in the squad. You can't just be very good.
Lee says keep Maxi, keep him to bring him on as a sub, might improve next season. Impact player, yeah. Alan says Anderson also got to keep up the way he played, would not sell, but yeah. Peter says Maxi frustrates the hell out of me. Lots of promise, but little in the way of end product. If we get a good offer, then let him go.
Yeah, I'm with that. But it have to be a very good offer.
ASM has no more development. He's reached his level. He's a selfish player, no end product. His crosses are poor.
I disagree with that because he's only 26. He's not reached his peak yet. There's plenty of scope for improvement.
ASM has had his chances. Elliot Anderson needs those now.
Well, I mean, there's no reason why they both can't get chances.
No. Oliver says, I'd rather have Keith Gillespie. He was a free swap.
Well, there's a very different type of player, Keith Gillespie.
Yeah.
He was good for us as well. But
yes, he was brilliant.
I think a lot of people are forgetting what ASM has done for us and what he's capable of. Because this season's really hard to judge him because he's missed so much of it. Because after the Wolves game, he was out for ages. And then we were playing so well, he's only coming on for sort of 15, 20 minutes at a time. Yeah. Then he had a couple of starts and was improving. But we all know he's an inconsistent player and he always has been. But I don't know how many games he started this season. probably 10 if that.
I mean, Coffee says, I think Anderson keeps the ESM out for now. Joe Linton's back on Sunday, remember?
It's
So I
going to be
think Joe
interesting to see
Linton...
what the actual lineup's going to be on Sunday.
Yeah, Derek says, can't teach an old dog new tricks. Alan
It's not
says,
old. It's not old.
how won't sell unless replacement after what happened with Shelby? Absolutely, he won't do that again. ESM isn't selfish. That's why he doesn't score much goals, because he passes to people, but will never be okay with ESM. But people will never be okay with ESM, says Trolls.
Yeah. I think Trolls. I think some people will never be okay with him, and some people will love him.
Coffee says that fraud Pogba got into the French squad. Yeah, exactly. Impersonating the footballer.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're going to become the end of the show now, guys and girls. But the thing is, we've got all sorts of players. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do another one of these shows by Keep and Sell, because there is plenty more to add into this and ask if we should keep, sell, and who we should buy. So we're going to do another one of these shows again. Definitely, because it's just unfortunate we've run out of time tonight. But I tell you what, there is a lot more to do, and I think it's been a cracking show tonight. And Oliver says, even if ESM was fit all season, you'd not have started in front of Big Joe. Probably not. And
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Didn't Givosh get a cap for France too? Yeah, he was poor as well, wasn't he?
That was before France were really, really good.
Coffee says, Man U fans wanted Rashford out last season, but he's transformed himself immensely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So the thing people forget about ASM is that he's still young. He's not reached his peak yet. He's still got another, so he's 26 now. He's got another 2 years before he reaches his peak.
Yeah.
And he'll be working with Eddie and Mad Dog to improve. You can see the difference in his play already. Now he's got to, his positional play and his awareness of everyone else is improved. Now he's got to marry that up with his attacking flair. If he can do that, he may have a chance of actually making the French squad, and that's a very good squad. It's almost like he can do one thing or the other. He's got to work it so he can do them both. And I think he's at the moment he's working on his team play. Now he's got and becoming a team player and contributing going forward as well as coming back. Now he's sort of improved so much on that scale. He now has to add that flair and the attack and the penetration that he got in previous season to it. And then you've got one hell of a player, and he's got time. So he's 26. He's not reached his peak. There's still plenty of scope for development. I mean, look at Jacob Murphy. He's 20. Was he 28, 29? And you see the improvement in this season alone.
27 years.
Jacob Murphy's 27.
Yeah.
You can see the improvement he's made this season, even. So there's plenty of time.
Lee says, it's been great tonight, Tony and Rolly. Keep up the good work, getting better all the time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Lee, Coffee says, at least we have ESM and not Mr. Lube. Love it. Troll says, people wouldn't mind McTominay, who's 26 and being shit, but ESM can still be great. So, you're right. Tanji says, I ain't hating ESM, but he has had his opportunities and not taking them. There's only so long you can persevere with him, but otherwise his value will drop, so let's be clever and cash in. And he also says,
I disagree
it's what Sir Alex Ferguson would have done. So we are wrapping up now. Do you want to let people know where they can find you, Rolly?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Pols67. If you follow me, I'll follow you back. Yeah.
And we are going to do another one of these shows because this is, this needs to be done again. So, we'll have to do a part 2. But yeah, guys, you can find me down there at TonyTony31 on Twitter. So follow me there and I'll follow you back. Also, if you like what you see, then make sure on your way out the channel, you smash those likes. Thank you very much indeed. It does really help the channel. Also, if you're brand new to the channel, then please hit the subscribe. Free to do so, helps the channel grow, and that bell notification will tell you when I'm live, have a pre-record, or any upcoming shows. And I got 2 new subscribers, so I'm now up to 455. So I'm now 45 away from 500. I'm just going to some final comments. Ian says, I have to get off now, Tony and Rolly. Great show as always. No worries, Ian. Thank you very much indeed. I like coffee. Bye, Tony, Rolly and all. Bye, coffee. Have a nice evening. And Troll says, great show. Thank you very much indeed, Trolls. Thank you.
Thanks,
but yeah, guys, it's been a great show tonight. Lots to talk about, and as I say, we will do this again because I think it's a terrific show to do. And yeah,
a lot of fun.
But until then, it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.
Away the lads, up the tune. Bye bye for now.